First one is Gdsr. So our payment, 1980. Okay. The heating is 167 per month, so these are monthly amounts. We've got our annual property taxes, and we've got a yearly income of 85,000. We cannot have that. So whatever amount we have, if it's already annual amounts, we can just divide it by 12. Okay? So the 4,300 divided by 12 ends up being 358.33. Okay? And this divided by 12 gets us 7,083.33. Okay? So this is half a mark. You dividing this by 12 is also half a mark. Do you remember, this is important, if they give you anything other than, like monthly is ideal. If they give you the annual amount, I think we all know, divided by 12. But if they give you bi-weekly, semi-monthly, any of that, if you were here for the study sheet entries, please make sure if it's weekly, you multiply it by 52, then you divide by 12, okay? So that's important. So Gdsr calls for payment plus heat, which is 167, plus 358.33. Okay, so all of these are monthly amounts. These are called housing costs. We divide that by the income, the monthly income. Right? And at the end of the day, we multiply that by 100 to get our percentage, because it does want it as a percentage. So if we add the top, we get 2505.33. The bottom we leave as is. Multiply that by 100. That gives you 35.37%. So you get a mark for substituting everything correctly, and then you get a mark for actually stating your final answer rounded correctly. Okay, I would circle that. That's my final answer. If you forgot to divide by 12, obviously we would have to check if all the work afterwards checks out. But dividing by 12, turning it into monthly, is a full mark altogether. So if you didn't do that, you get 2 out of 3 max, right? So keep that in mind. Will the bank approve him for the mortgage? Explain. What do you need to mention here? The 32%, the magic number. Is that on our... I don't think I have that. There's 32 everywhere, but... oh yeah, here. Below 32 is good. You could get approved, right? So in this case, you will have to say no. You will not get approved since the Gdsr is above 32%. Okay, so you just say, you mentioned the 32, that's the only way you're gonna get a mark there, unfortunately, okay? If someone's Gdsr is too high, what can be done to lower? You can increase the down payment. You can increase the amortization, the time, right, the term, pay it off longer because your payment goes smaller, right? If you say more years to pay off, your payments will go down, which will bring down your housing costs, okay? Shop for a lower interest rate. And maybe cosign. I'm not a big fan of this one, but cosign to increase income, right? If you can somehow increase the amount that they're considering as your income, that would also work out for you. Okay. Josephine's gross annual income is 120,000. What's the maximum monthly that she could be spending on housing? Max housing is going to be income times 0.32. And that is monthly, right? So I'm going to go 120,000 divided by 12. That's $10,000 per month. Yeah. So this will be 10,000 times 0.32. It's 3,200. Okay, so you get 1 mark for converting this into a monthly amount, sorry. And then you get a mark for multiplying it by 32. Okay? We're good? Triangle has 3 sides. Side, 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 you know it's cosine law. What's the largest angle? If you sketch it, 5.1, 3.5, 2.4, it doesn't matter if it's drawn to scale, but this is the angle we want. Let's call that A. Cosine of A, we gotta go 2.4 plus 3.5 minus 5.1. This longest side has to be across the angle. That's the largest angle right there. This is 2 times 2.4 times 3.5. You do the top, you get -8. You do the bottom, it's 16.8. That turns out to be -0.476, and that keeps going, okay? Last line is A, it's cosine of inverse cosine of that. What do we know if this is negative? We know that this is going to be an obtuse angle, bigger than 90. Okay, so angle A is going to be 118.44. Okay. If you drop the negative, we'll take off half off today because it's been a while. But normally they would take off a full mark, so don't drop the negative. So I'll give you a mark for substituting, and I'll give you a mark for calculating the final answer. State one advantage of leasing rather than financing. So leasing instead of financing. Lower monthly payments. You can say that you may get a new car after the term. You may get another car after the term is done. You would say in general you're safer because you're always buying a brand new car with the latest safety features. If you're financing, you're technically, like, after the financing is over, you keep owning that same vehicle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3. This would have been 10 on this page, so let's make a subtotal out of 10 already. Let's go to the back side. I'm gonna run out of space here, I know that already, but I'll give it an honest go here. So this is the table that you will always be provided with on a test or exam, but it doesn't hurt to fit it on your study sheet if you can fit it. So you go minus 30, that's 0. So you're at 395. Okay, keep taking 60,000 away. I showed you a shortcut yesterday. That's 300. So you'd be at 335. Take away 60,000 again. This is times 1%. That's 600 that you would pay. Yikes, this is not going to work, but let's try it anyways. Take away 50. You pay 1.5. That's 750. Then you're left with 225. And once you've taken away all of these 4 values, these 4 tiers, whatever is left gets taxed 2%. So 225 times 0.02, that's 4,500. Okay, so let's do the marks here. I will give you 1 mark for having the 300 and the 600. and I will give you another mark for having the 750 and the 4,500. And then the total, if you add all of that up, it should be 6,150. You get another full mark for that. Okay? So you get a mark for so 2 marks basically for all the work all the way to 4,500, and another mark for getting the 6,150. If you've shown me the shortcut that I showed you yesterday and you come up with 6,150, as long as you show me the work, you get all 3 marks. Okay, so you're not going to lose marks for having the shortcut there. And I'm going to do the 167 over here. Okay, so you subtract 30,000, no taxes on the first 30. You're down to 137. The next tier is $60,000. You multiply by 0.005. You're down to 77,000. You can still subtract the next tier. You're left with 17,000. At this point, you multiply by whatever the next tier is, 1.5% on the 17,000 that is in that tier. Just so you know, okay? The width of this tier is 50,000, right? We know it's 50,000, but we don't use up all of it. So only the 17,000 pays 1.5%. So you pay 300 for this chunk, 600 for that chunk, and let's see here. This is 2,550. Okay. So what I will do today is I'll give you 1 mark for this. I'll give you a full mark for the 2,550 because I think it's somewhat tricky to get that one right. And now you have to add everything up. So this is what, 900, 925.50. You get another mark for coming up with a 925.50. If you made a mistake somewhere along the way, take away a full mark for you not having this done correctly. Right? Like, let's say you made a mistake, you somehow didn't get this part, take away 1, you still get a 2 out of 3. You're the teacher today, so I'm not going to argue with you. I just want you to learn. Okay? Yeah. For this one? This one here? This last part is wrong? So let's see, this minus, see, make sure you turn it into a 0.015, right? Because it's 1.5%. Yeah. For me? Because 1.5% divided by 100, this is supposed to be 0.015, right? Multiply that by 17,000. I was wrong. Why are you so defensive, Mr. Erickson? Why don't you just accept that your students got it right? Okay. Hey, that actually makes my day because you're actually paying attention. 11:55. My bad. Thank you. Thank you for speaking up. Okay, 11:55 it is. My bad. That was a very 25.50. Yeah, it was not a whole lot of money, right, for that tier. We're good? Okay, so we've got 3 marks and 3 marks for the land transfer tax. Okay, so 6 marks involved there. Now we're going to do the insurance. for insurance, I need a table rate. This is homeowners insurance, so I need to use this table. I am maxing out because I'm covering for 400,000, right? So I max out. I need to grab a number. Area for comprehensive is 1,063. So this is 1,063 plus. How much more than 200,000 do you need? We need 400,000 in total, so I need to insure another 200,000, right? And how much am I paying for each 1,000 additionally? 519. So it's 519 over 1,000. Here's the mark breakdown so far. We don't need to multiply this by 1.10 because we're not needing a $200 deductible. You're going to get a mark for that. You're getting a mark for having this done accordingly, okay? It should be done this way. Then it's 1,063. We're going to figure this out real quick. Hopefully this time I get it right. It's 1,038. No complaints, all right? 1,063. This is 2,101. So you get a mark for the work leading up to the final answer. Any objections to that one? All right. Okay, so this back side is 3 and 3 and 3, so 9. The back side is worth 9, okay? All right, go to the front. Add 10 and 9 together. That will get you to 19. So I have a mark out of 19 on this one and pass it forward.